Welcome to Chronicles of Dread, where forgotten histories whisper through the dark.
In the winter of 1891, the Ashbourne family sealed a book they swore no one would ever read. A ledger, not of debts and dividends, but of guilt. Each name written in that hand did not live to see the spring. This is Chronicles of Dread. Episode 1, The Ashbourne Ledger. Ashbourne House stands where the road splits toward the marsh and the churchyard, 3 miles from the quiet town of Westmere. It was built on money that moved not always by legal means. The Ashbournes invested in ships, in timber, in people. Opportunity, they called it. Others had another word. Elias Ashbourne was a man who weighed souls the way a banker weighs coins. He left behind a wife, 2 daughters, a son, and rumors that much of his fortune never crossed a bank's threshold at all. In January of 1892, Clara Merrick arrived. She carried a letter and a question no one could answer. The letter bore a single line in a hand-long thought buried. The ledger is wrong. Clara had been hired as a copyist to catalog old papers before damp and time erased them. She did not know the papers had teeth. At supper, the widow Henrietta Ashbourne presided like a relic carved from frost. Her children, Margaret, Thomas, and Lydia, ate in silence. One place was left empty. Henrietta said, "You are here to copy and to keep silent. Miss Merrick, good houses keep photographs of those they love. Bad houses keep the rooms." They never spoke of the youngest son, Henry, the initial on the letter. In the East Study, Clara found it, a black-bound ledger, clasped shut with no title. One of the old keys fit perfectly. The pages were ruled in columns, names, amounts, and a final mark, a small black slash. Not accounts paid, accounts owed, and among them, one name she knew, Merrick. The ledger had a habit of naming those who would not be seen again. Later that night, Lydia came to her door. "You must not read that book after dark," she whispered. "Mother says the house keeps what it hears." When Clara asked why her family's name was written inside, Lydia only said, "Because someone bought their silence." And then she listened to the boards creak above them and said no more. By day, Clara compared letters and bills of lading. Henry Ashbourne's name had been scrubbed from every public record, but on one receipt, she found it again, beside a payment to St. Hilda's Charity, the same date marked next to her father's name in the ledger. "Charity, or laundering a ruin," she whispered. As her pen moved, she heard another pen moving with it, somewhere beneath the desk. She stopped. The sound did not. The house was writing back. That night, Clara confronted Henrietta. "The ledger is a record of payments to bury wrongs. My father's name appears beside a date that took my brother. Who bought that silence?" Henrietta replied, "My husband believed every problem could be balanced. He weighed grief against gold. I kept the book to remember the cost." Henrietta spoke as if confession were arithmetic, neat, bloodless, final. At dawn, Clara and Lydia walked the marsh path. Reeds hissed in the wind. A stone marked E.A. Elias Ashbourne. Near it, timbers rotted under the mud. The marsh remembers weight, and where men sank without a word. Among Henry's belongings, Clara found a map and one line, "I will not sign." At twilight, Clara rode alone into the reeds. The oar struck something solid, a small tarred box heavy with silt. She pried it open. Inside were torn pages from the ledger and a promissory note bearing Elias Ashbourne's signature. Payment for silence. Proof that gold had bought graves. She returned to the house. The family waited. Henrietta, Margaret, Thomas, Lydia. Clara laid the wet papers on the table. "Your husband paid to erase men. He paid to quiet my family." "The ledger is a map of graves." Henrietta asked, "If I give you coin, will you go?" Clara answered, "If I go, I take the names, and I will speak them where it echoes." In some houses, the only absolution is public. The next morning, in the stone church at Westmere, Clara read the names aloud, each one, a soul balanced against a coin. "Henry Ashbourne refused to sign," she said. "For that, he was consigned to the marsh. My brother drowned for another man's reputation." The townsfolk listened. Some wept, others simply lowered their eyes. Back at Ashbourne House, Henrietta sat alone in the study. The ledger lay open, its pages gone. She closed the empty cover, set it on the shelf, and blew out the candle. A house that keeps secrets swells with them. Take out the pages, and it collapses to the size it should have been. Just wood. Glass, a dry place out of the rain. Clara wrote her final letter by lamplight. "I have returned the pages to air," she wrote. "I keep only the small book of a man who tried to do one good thing and drowned for it. I cannot change what the Ashbournes bought or buried, but I can say their names where ink will not be shut again. If there is a cost for that, I will pay it with the only coin I have, my own name. Ledgers tell us what was owed. The dead tell us what was due. If it was meant to stay hidden, we'll bring it to light."
Thank you for watching Chronicles of Dread. Until the next story, remember, some pages should never be turned.